Super buttons are only found in Point of Success Premium. A super button is a self-contained ordering environment that when you touch the button on the order entry menu, it displays over the top of the order entry screen. Super buttons can contain up to 100 buttons on a super button screen. An item is priced and added to an order when the super button window is closed. Super buttons are used for ordering sandwiches, omelets, or any menu item with toppings or optional ingredients, and super buttons are perfect for pizza. You can do things like ordering partial pie specialty toppings like a meat lovers on half and then pepperoni only on the other half. You can also change the size of the item as you go. You can specify which toppings or which ingredients are free or included. And you can take the order in any sequence. No matter how the customer says the order, you can take that order on the super button. And super buttons support complex pricing, things like charging for the most expensive half of the pizza no matter what is on the other half. Before I show you how to set up a super button, let's look at an example of how the super button works. I'm going to be using the Point of Success tutorial data for this example. So click Start, All Programs, and then choose Point of Success and Order Entry Tutorial. This uses the tutorial sample data that's included with Point of Success. The tutorial data is a set of sample data, not the menu sample that we're setting up now, but a set of sample data, the same data that's included with the demo for Point of Success. The PIN code in tutorial data is always 123, so let's enter the PIN code and then go to New Order. The Pizza on One Screen button is an example of a super button. Our specialty pizzas are on the left-hand side of the super button. Then at the top we have sauce selections, cheese selections, and then our toppings at the bottom. You can have up to 100 buttons on a super button screen. Notice that our sauce selection buttons are yellow. They require a selection. So let's choose red sauce for this pizza, and then let's order a Supreme Pizza. Notice when I touch the Supreme Pizza button, automatically these topping buttons are depressed and turn green. These are the items that are normally included on a Supreme Pizza. We can remove items by touching or clicking those on the super button screen, and we can also add other items to this order. So let's click Close, and you'll notice now that the pizza is put onto the order using the super button, and it's priced all at the same time. Next, look at the super button section of the training booklet, and you'll see the menu items that we'll be using for our super button example. First, we'll be setting up a super button for a ham and cheese sub. Now, we already set up the conventional menu to use the ham and cheese sub, but I'll be showing you how to do this in a super button for both the 6-inch and the 12-inch sizes. I'll also be doing a roast beef sub on the same super button. Then we'll look at building a pizza, a cheese pizza, and specialty pizzas, so a pizza can be built or a specialty pizza can be set up. One of the differences between a super button and the conventional menu in Point of Success is that every button on a super button screen has to have a product code attached. Let's go to the Product Center, and you can see that we have already set up product codes for American, cheddar, provolone cheese, and also the toppings for the sandwich: lettuce, mayonnaise, mustard, onion, and tomato. So we already have all of the buttons that we need for our ham and cheese sandwich, except we do not have a product code for no cheese. So let's add a new product and set up a new code for no cheese. We'll assign a prep location of 1. And save that no cheese selection. All of the product codes for our ham and cheese super button are now set up, so let's go to the Tools Center and click Design Your Food menu to open the Menu Designer. Press F9 to go into design mode, and now on the component palette we're going to click the super button component and then click on the screen to place that super button. This is the Super Button Properties window, and this is where you set up the button to control how it works and what it does. I'll be showing you a few things on this window, and then we'll get right into setting up our sub sandwiches. First of all, the button caption is entered. This is the label that's shown on the super button when it's on the menu screen. The item caption is the name of this item that will be shown on the customer receipt and the prep ticket. These checkboxes here are used for pricing. We can use one price for all items on an order. What that means is that, for example, a pizza that's put on an order with 3 toppings, rather than showing the price for each of those individual toppings, the total price for the pizza is rolled up into the pizza item and the toppings are just listed. Sizes and products are entered here. One of the big advantages of a super button is that sizing can be done on the fly. In other words, the size of the item that's ordered can change at any time, whether it's a 6-inch sub versus a 12-inch sub or a small, medium, large, extra large pizza. All during the process of putting in the order, the size can be changed at any time. The button map area on this window is where the buttons are defined that will appear on the super button window itself. So in the button map, for example, in our sub sandwich, we're going to have the included items for a ham and cheese sub and then the roast beef sub following that. At the top of the button map window is where you define the number of rows and columns that will be used for this super button. We have a total of 10 rows by 10 columns, which gives us a total of 100 possible buttons. Here on the left-hand side of the screen, this is where you can copy and paste the button information between different buttons and also between different tabs on a combination button, which we'll be discussing later. You can either edit buttons or arrange buttons in a super button by checking one of these radio buttons. All you have to do to move buttons around on the button map is to click Arrange Buttons, and then you can click and drag the buttons to another location. Ticket sort order is used to define how the information defined on the super button will be printed on a customer receipt or a prep ticket. Some restaurants want to see, for example, pizza toppings in a very specific sequence. In other words, the sequence that they'll go on to the pie. And the ticket sort order screen lets you change how those items appear. And finally, screen size. This is where you define what kind of a screen or what size of a screen the super button will be used on. So you can define 800 by 600, 1024 by 768. Those are both screen resolutions. Or you can define full screen, so it doesn't matter what kind of a screen it's on. It takes up the whole order entry screen. Now remember that the super button does display over the menu in the order entry program, so the super button takes up all or most of the screen. And the preview button in the lower right hand corner is used for seeing what this super button will look like without having to go into the order entry program. We're ready now to set up the super button properties to use for a sub sandwich example. Again, refer to your training booklet under super button. We're going to be setting up a super button to order both 6-inch and 12-inch sizes of ham and cheese sub and roast beef sub sandwiches. So for our button caption, let's type subs. And item caption. The item caption is what we'll print on the customer receipt and on the prep ticket in the kitchen. Let's put sub sandwich. And what we will be doing is using one price for all items. This lets us roll the price for each item that's on the super button order up into the main item, which in this case will be sub sandwich that goes on to the order. Under the size column, we can drop down the list and see the predefined list of sizes. None of these fit our requirements because we want to do a 6-inch and a 12-inch size. So for the first size, let's just type 6 inches. And then we'll look at our product code list. We've set up product codes for a 6-inch ham and cheese sub and also for a 6-inch roast beef sub. However, we're not going to be using these product codes. The product codes that I set up have the full price of the sandwich. And what we're going to be doing is just setting up placeholder product codes. In other words, just product codes to save the size or handle the size. And then we'll be charging for the individual sizes